it's delightful. Oh, I didn't see there. Well, tonight, I'm going to be teaching you how to make gourmet spaghetti with my somewhat sketchy iPhone holder that I'm still getting used to. So, this is an excellent intro meal because it's so easy and has so few ingredients. And also, this is a great meal for if you don't cook at all, which is what this video is aimed towards. So, we got our pasta water. Just pick a medium-sized pot. Fill it like roughly 3/4 with water. You do not have to measure anything, by the way. Heavily salt it with the good stuff. Pink Himalayan sea salt. Salting this is going to add a lot of flavor to our pasta. And you don't just salt it. Put a little olive oil in it. And this also adds flavor to the pasta and helps stop them from clumping together. So this is basically just on standby because you can't burn it. You can't overcook it. It's just water. You can happily ignore this for a while. So now step 2, we're going to prep our pasta sauce. Frying pan. It used to be non-stick. Now it's a very old pan that's seen some things. Turn the heat on. Gonna put a little olive oil in here to stop our meat from sticking. Even if it's like a functional non-stick pan, you should probably do the same. Start with a little olive oil, a little, honestly, any kind of oil. I always like to prep everything before I turn on any heat. Because as soon as you turn on the heat, that's basically when your timer starts. Now you're rushed, you have to keep an eye on things. Things will burn if you don't touch them in a while. So I have all my ingredients laid out. I got these little buggers just at Sprouts, and they're like bulk spice department. Just fill a little baggie, and I got parsley. I got parsley, basil, white pepper, oregano, thyme, another thing of basil for some unknown reason. Turmeric, which is always a fun one. Turmeric has a lot of good flavor to it. And a little cayenne pepper, and a touch more salt for our pasta sauce. For the sauce itself, you technically can like boil down a bunch of tomatoes to create like the tomato base and then heavily season it. But frankly, that's a tremendous amount of work and it kind of tastes the same. So I like this one a lot. This one actually has, it tends to be a little bit pricier, but very good quality tomato sauce. And then just season the heck out of it and add the hamburger to it, or lamb, or whatever I'm cooking with, whatever protein. I need music. Hold one sec. But you can use something cheaper, like this guy, little guy, just Sprouts brand, store brand, marinara. It's probably like $3. That's almost just as good. So whatever works for you, whatever is not too pricey, just go for it. Because it's just the tomato base, and then we're adding the seasonings to make it something spectacular. Excellent beer, by the way. So now, we're just waiting for our oil in the frying pan to heat up a little bit. Because if you don't heat the oil first, you just leave it, you put the oil in, immediately throw your meat in, it's going to get all over the meat. Your meat's going to be very oily and just not ideal. By heating the oil, it actually kind of creates a liquid barrier between the surface of the pan and the meat, which is the whole point. Let me turn down the music just a touch. That should do it. So this bugger's pretty well heated. Now, generally just like if you're doing hamburger, ground hamburger or lamb, just like a pound of it is fine. Definitely aim for like lower fat content, like 85% lean. Pretty good way to go. I tend to get the pricier, organic, grass-fed, blah, blah, blah stuff. Just because quality ingredients really do make a huge difference in cooking. It won't kill a recipe if you use like more affordable, cheaper ones, but you will be able to taste the difference. Just cutting this guy. Using my plastic bag as a glove. I don't like to get raw meat all over my poetic hands. There we go. And ground hamburger cooks really fast. And that's the idea with doing our sauce like this, is we want to cook the meat first until it's mostly done. Then we're going to chuck in all of our actual tomato sauce, our seasonings, and boil it. Let me spread this guy around because it's kind of glumpy right now. 2 spoons, all you'll need. And I'll show you why the 2 spoons shortly here. There we go. Just spread this guy around a little. Daring to touch my iPhone holder thing, that didn't really work. Slightly tragic. I'm going to go and pre-open this, just twist the cap off, because you generally want, I try to have everything prepped, so when I need it, I can just grab it. I'm leaving the lid off, so when I need that, I can literally just chuck it in the pan. Always have paper towels and napkins on hand. Cooking is a messy business, and you'll get stuff all over you. Generally don't wear, like, nice clothes that you care about because they'll probably get tomato sauce on them. But I go hiking like this, so this is just me. This is my life. Now, let me really try to angle this because this part's important. There we go. This is why you want the 2 spoons. Because we're going to flip over our meat. You see, this part's cooked now. And use the spoons just like little scrapers. Scrape off the cooked meat, exposing the raw meat. We're gonna let it cook more. Turn up the heat a little bit more. Then, after literally like 2-3 minutes, we're gonna flip it over again, scrape the cooked meat off the other side until we have a nice pan full of happily cooked hamburg. This thing is stressful. I like have this giant, like, gooseneck phone holder. It's very stressful. It was actually almost starting to flip. Our water's looking nice. Looking a little bit bubbly at the bottom, which means it's technically almost ready to put the pasta in now, but you don't want to put the pasta in just because pasta takes a few minutes to cook. You don't want to have that all done and then just cooked and hanging out while you're still finishing up your sauce. There we go. This is starting to break up a little bit more. We just want this all nice and cooked. Another reason too, we want to mostly cook our hamburger before putting the tomato sauce in, is because even at like 85% lean, that's still like 15% fat content. All that fat turns into grease. So you'll just get a big puddle of grease in this pan here, even with this like higher end leaner beef. So we want to cook off all that grease so that our sauce doesn't become like too greasy, oily, just kind of gross. And also this is a real cooking show, so right now we just gotta kind of wait on everything. We're not gonna do a commercial break, we're not gonna pause and pick it up later. I'm not going to mysteriously have another frying pan that I pull out that's already cooked and already prepped, so that all this was pointless. You guys never get to touch this. We just get to do the one that I cooked off camera. We don't do that here. We do real cooking, and a part of real cooking, sometimes you have downtime. Enjoy a fine beer. Go watch a few minutes of a sitcom, a TV series, whatever you're enjoying. Play a video game for a little. Or just relax. That's part of it. Cooking should never, ever be stressful. Cooking is meant to be enjoyable. And it's intimidating, especially like getting into it when you don't really know what you're doing. That's part of the joy of like any dish, is just being able to, it's like a weird journey. Even a dish you've cooked before. Maybe you want to try something new. Maybe the frying pan isn't working like it should. The heat is off. It's just fun to improvise. And every time I make this, I make it mostly the same, but like I have like 10 something seasonings. I'll mix it up. Sometimes I'll put mushrooms in the sauce, different vegetables. I'll try different proteins. I've made this with Beyond Beef, with just straight up tofu, lamb hamburger, some kind of weird sausage. Hold one sec. I also have jazzier music. I guess we'll deal with that. Let me turn that down a touch more. There we go. Settle down with those bossa nova vibes. Here we go. I'm going to show you in a sec here. So our hamburger's starting to cook up a little bit, but check this out. You see all this grease down here? Look at that. That's maybe half or a third of what we're ultimately going to get. We're going to put here, for lack of a better name, is our grease bowl. Oh, I don't want to... Might have to do this slightly off camera. But so you use those same cooking spoons, spoon it out into the grease bowl, get it out of your frying pan. And there's really nothing useful you can do with this hamburger grease. Like, it's all just melted fat, basically. So I generally wait for it to cool, or sometimes I even just pour it like straight down the sink. Like, it's just, it's byproduct that you really don't want. It's not healthy for you. It is not ideal. And we just kind of mix up our hamburger. It's pretty much broken up at this point. I'm just going to break it up a little bit farther. Kind of use our spoons, just cut it into some smaller little tidbits. Because ideally you don't want huge chunks of meat in your sauce. You want it more all over the sauce. You want it incorporated with it, not like the key component where you just get a mouthful of hamburger. You just want little bits of hamburger in every bite there. And hamburger cooks so fast and easily. There we go. And now that it's broken up a lot more, let me show you guys. Show the folks at home. Now that it's broken up a lot more, that's going to release those fat tidbits because they're in smaller chunks a lot quicker. So we'll have to drain it probably one more time, maybe two. And once I'm confident we got rid of most of the fat, we can put in our pasta sauce and all our cheerful seasonings. Then we're going to let this cook for a little, not too long, and then start our pasta. And look, it's already ready to drain again. This is what we want. Kind of with any meat, like you'll get, for lack of a more appetizing term, meat grease, which you want to remove from the meal in some way or other. Enjoy my semi-balding forehead while I drain this. Close up and personal with Francisco J. Ruiz. Yeah, it's actually, we get almost done here. I've had some mushrooms, I chucked those in. Mushrooms is such a fun ingredient in any dish. There we go. Gonna break it up a little bit, just a touch more. There's almost no pink bits left. I'm going to let it cook for just a few extra, just to make sure there's no extra grease coming off this guy. But then I think we're about ready to... Oh, I can hear it sizzling. Just listen. You hear that sizzle? That's what you want to hear. Not for any, like, technical scientific reason, like when you hear that sizzle, it's ready. You just want to hear that sizzle. It's just, it's appetizing. So I'm seeing if I get any more grease in here. Just a little bit, not, oh, that's more than I thought, okay. But this should be the last of it. Or like roughly the last, like, hamburger is kind of a fatty meat. And it's fine if you like leave in some. Because you also don't want your meat to be too dry. That's just as tragic, honestly. There we go. And just for the folks at home. Look at what we're not putting in our sauce by properly draining that off. Would you want that in your pasta sauce? That's like measured per like half a cup. From lean ground beef. Now imagine the cheaper stuff. Now, a lot of people get this part wrong. It seems easy, but there's like a technique to it. So, bottle pasta sauce, frying pan. A lot of people like worry about like how to put it in the pan. It's very, very technical. Watch closely. There we go. See? I know it's hard. It's like just that maneuver to transfer one to the other. And look, pro chef moves. A little bit of sauce left in here using our same spoons. Spoon that out. Dump that fellow. Stir in our meat. Just kind of mix all this together. And notice I'm not measuring anything. Measuring stuff we don't do in this household. There we go. And the pasta sauce kind of separates a little bit, like some of the more watery, I think actually straight up water from the tomatoes kind of comes to the top. So you want to just mix it around a little bit so like the pastier bits of the tomato mix all in. And look at this. It's already resembling... already looking like a good pasta sauce. Like if we just, at this point the meat's done. We're just heating up the tomato base. And if we just serve it like this, heat it up a little bit, it would pass. I don't think anyone would really fuss. It wouldn't be like spectacular, but no one would fuss about it. It'd be better than you get in some restaurants. Their spaghetti is tragic. But now, all of the fun seasonings. Back to our pink Himalayan sea salt, the healthiest variety of salt. You might put in more later. All of our fun bulk seasonings. Basil. Always crumple it up here. See, I'm like pinching it. Kind of grind my fingers against each other just to like grind it up a little bit better. Smaller tidbits. And especially with pasta sauce, it is meant to be very heavily seasoned. So, rather than something like salt, where if you over-season salt, you're done. Don't worry too much about getting too rowdy with these guys. That's only some seasonings like salt and garlic where you can go way overboard. Parsley, same thing. Crumple it up. Look at our sauce. It's already looking like... Let me turn the heat down just a touch. It's already looking like something special. A little more parsley because we're feeling kind of rowdy. Look at that goodness. And that's 3 seasonings we have right now. Salt, parsley, oregano. Oh no, salt, parsley, basil. Here is the oregano. Look at all that goodness. Take a big pinch of it. Spread all that goodness. You know, the crazy thing is these little buggers, they're plant leaves. Like that's what most of these seasonings are, is they're plant leaves. And we have thyme. Thyme is very important because it is, wait for it, time to get delicious. Oh, delightful. Now we're down to white pepper. Pepper is another seasoning where you gotta watch it because you can get a little bit too rowdy. White pepper is way better than like classic ground pepper. It's got a little bit of a zippier, zingier taste, while also somehow being more mild, which is weird. I think we're gonna skip the turmeric today. I'm just not feeling it. That was my backup basil. Always have backup basil in your pocket. Even when not cooking, just have backup basil. The last of my cayenne, but we don't need too much. A little cayenne is wonderful for a kick, for a nice flavor. It really brings it together. Too much cayenne or any other kind of spice, and then you're just really tasting the spice. It takes away from everything else. So here, check this out. Before I stir it in, look at all that. We just put in a mountain of seasoning. Now stir all this together. Mix all those guys in real good. After that, because sanitation is a thing when cooking, like, oh, one sec, sneeze. Ew. Figured my adorable sneeze, back to business. Being careful with raw meat, or just kitchen cleanliness, is huge while cooking. It's huge. And this is the last time we're using these spoons, because we've had these spoons since the beginning, since the hamburger was raw. Technically, any germs or raw hamburger tidbits have probably been cooked off. But just to be safe, we're going to upgrade, because now we just need a spoon. A spoon for stirring it. That's it. Turn the heat back up a little. Our pasta we can put in at any time. I'm actually going to make sure I have a plate on hand, so I don't need to go anywhere for it. I'll tuck that down there. I have my pasta strainer on hand. Now we just gotta give it a few. But we're close. We're actually almost done already. It's been 22 minutes, 57 seconds. That's not hard. And were we rushing at any point? No. We're taking our time. We're hanging out. We're enjoying beer. There were points where we had nothing going on. This has been zero effort thus far. And the hard part's already normal. With the hang out and chill part. Because literally with the pasta sauce, stir it occasionally. That's really about it. I'm just going to give that a little extra time to heat up. For pasta, I like using capellini noodles. Ones that are advertised as spaghetti noodles are, in my experience, way too thick. Well, these little guys, look how thin that is. And it just is delicious. It feels a lot less heavy when you eat it. A lot less overwhelming. And I'm trying to think if I have to do anything else. This guy's just heating up a little bit more. This is ready anytime. I want a fork for stirring the spaghetti noodles as they cook. Have that on standby. Oh, let's make sure we have Parmesan cheese. Because as wondrous as spaghetti is, unless you have Parmesan, is this expired? Oh, this is the best ever. I don't know how blurry it is, but the month is faded off. I can see it's this year. It's literally faded. I think it might be a... Well, it doesn't look moldy. It's for this year, that's all we know. Let's live dangerously. And normally I go for higher end Parmesan. I'll get like a nice shredded Parmesan, which you can pick up at the grocery store for like $5-6. And it's so worth it. But you know, I think I used it up on some other very random recipe. I just felt like putting cheese in it. This will still work. It's cheap, but it'll still work. Unless it poisons us, but it can't be that far expired. So now, this is pretty much done. I'm going to move these guys. I'm going to shift them. Because I have just one tiny 2-plate burner. Which I do all my cookery on. And that's the big chunky plate. Here's the little guy plate. It is now mainly just to keep this warm. I'm even going to turn this one down. I'll try not to burn myself because the handle on it broke a long time ago. Now, the fun part. These noodles are lengthy. You can chuck them in whole. I like to take a good noodle handful. Just break it in half. Chuck them in. There we go. Let's do the rest of the packet. We don't have that many noodles. And voila. So that's good. Pasta sauce, I'm going to turn down yet farther out. Stirring spoon for the noodles. Because you want all these guys in the water, because it's specifically being in the water that really helps cook them down. Turn this back up. Noodles cook very quickly. But it's still like... It's still not stressful. It's not like you have to keep checking them constantly. Oh, am I gonna burn my noodles? All you can do if you overcook them is make them a little bit mushy. A little bit. But there's like a long grace period before you get to that point. So as you'll see, we're just gonna check them constantly. Semi-constantly. And the way to taste when a noodle's done is literally just taste it. We're gonna fork one out, eat it, see if it's like soft, but not too mushy. I don't know if you guys can see. Well, you kind of can. They're already becoming less hard, like a little bit stringier as the pasta dough they're made out of cooks. That's really it. Once they start getting done too, noodles will float to the top of the water. Because right now they're all kind of sunken at the bottom. That's another good indicator. Also, extremely important. Taste. Always taste what you're cooking. Our first tidbit of sauce. Blow it off just like Grandma used to do to cool it. Back in my day, spaghetti sauce cooked quicker. It's got a lot of good flavor to it. All those seasonings. Ooh, and the cayenne. It does add like a nice zip to it. Stir our pastas a little. You don't have to go crazy with stirring, just like, really like mixing them around, not as opposed to straight up stirring them. Just so they don't clump. The oil we put in here will help a lot with that. But if you don't do the oil and you don't stir them, you will see what I mean when I say pasta noodles clumping together. where instead of separate noodles, it's going to just be one big mass. That's still edible, but it won't cook as well. And you're going to have to like break it up. It's going to be a whole thing that you did not sign up for. You just want to cook spaghetti, sit down, open a bottle of Jack Daniels, just stare at your kids without having to interact with them. That's all. The working man's life. Stir our pasta a little bit more, and that's fine. I'm actually going to turn the pasta all the way off now, because that's going to stay hot for quite a while longer. For whatever weird reason, tomatoes hold in heat exceptionally well. It's kind of alarming. They're a very alarming vegetable. Our noodles are looking very noodly. Not stiff at all anymore. They're maybe like half cooked right now. They're getting there. Take a pause. Pretend I'm going away to adjust the volume on the music. When in fact I'm blowing my nose off camera. You just don't have to know about it. Prep something fun to watch. Amazon Prime Video. While we eat our dinner. We got that prepped. Watching a little bit of that SpongeBob goodness. Is SpongeBob on Amazon Prime? I have no idea. I don't think I've ever watched SpongeBob in my life. I'm mildly terrified of SpongeBob. I just don't trust, I don't trust those square pants. Like, I just don't get it. It seems kind of suspect to me. Like, what's up? What's up with that sponge? There's no point in stirring the spaghetti sauce, but hey, if you got friends over and you want to impress them, needlessly stir things. Just look chefy. Needlessly stir things, put on an important expression, be like, Water's looking well boiled. Learned that at culinary school. That's the right temp. That's perfect. Put on a show. People like it. That's what I'm doing right now. I have cooked this meal and a salad and garlic bread while half drunk. And it came out delightful. Like, it's not hard. Now we're just kind of hanging out. It's really just waiting on that pasta. Oh, one last thing I need to prep. Oven mitts. While we drain our pasta. Which we're unfortunately going to have to do off camera. Oh, can I do it? No, it's not going to work. Because this sink isn't fully functional, so I try to be careful with what I task the sink with. So we're going to drain this over the other sink that way. And I can't really do that. I kind of need both hands. I'm trying to think of a way. I don't think I can make it happen. But draining pasta is easy. You have two hands, right? Left hand holds the strainer. Right hand holds the pasta pot. Hold the strainer over the sink. Pour the pasta pot through the strainer. It cannot be easier. This is why you were designed, why humans were designed with two hands. For spaghetti. It all comes together. The only thing to be wary of, something that's actually really easy to overlook. When you're pouring hot water into something, there's going to be a lot of steam coming up. And steam can burn. I know from personal experience. This is actually a happy little burn I got when making tacos. Because I was careless. Steam will burn you pretty bad. So just, your hands are pretty much fine because they're down here while you're pouring it. Just don't make sure the steam isn't going up into your face. Have your face be like back here, because steam will mess you up. And to play it extra safe, you can do it in segments. You can pour some of the water and pasta into the strainer. Bring the pot back up here. Wait a sec for the steam to kind of like dissipate. And then do the rest. As long as you're careful, 0 risk. But that's actually, surprisingly, this end point is the riskiest part of the whole business. Now, we're going to go ahead and taste the noodle. If I could get any to stick to the fork. Here we go. So these are hot. They just came out of boiling water. Always think about temperature when cooking. Because if you're careful, there's almost no way to burn yourself. If you're careless, there's so many little cooking minefields to burn yourself. This is one of them. It just came out of boiling water. It just needs a minute to cool down because it's skinny little pastas. But give it that minute. I need one skinny pasta. Hello, get off. There we go. There we go. It looks done. And it is. That's all you're waiting for. Does it taste like a done noodle? Yes. If it's still crunchy, even just a tiny bit, just boil it a little bit longer. It doesn't have to be much. Off camera. Forgive me, but I'll be quick. I don't even need oven mitts for this. I don't know why I grabbed oven mitts. I got too into it. Bear with me. This will take but a second of your time. Or my time. And check it out. He just made freaking fresh noodles. Don't put these right back on the stove. Put it like on the counter, off screen. Move my beer. We're gonna give those just a sec to finish draining. Because look, if I lift this up, there's still water dripping down. Just a little, but enough. Just to make sure our pasta isn't watery. Give this a last stir. We've already turned off all our heat. These heating elements are still hot and will be for a little bit. So be careful. Start dishing up. Our pasta's drained. Now check this out. I almost need like 2 cameras and 2 camera holders. Look at that. Just grab a little bit more of this goodness. Spoon on our pasta sauce. Delicious. Oh, and hey, final ingredient, that possibly expired Parmesan cheese. And this gourmet spaghetti, which took 39 minutes, it would have taken even less than that if we weren't recording or hanging out. Maybe 25 minutes at very most. Do you see how easy this is to make? You can make this. You who have never cooked, you who rarely cook, you who are scared of cooking, can make this. Not just for yourself, for your family, for your friends. And feel how good it feels to have them look in and be like, this tastes really good. You're a good chef. When they've never cooked anything before. So before I go enjoy this, you go enjoy cooking. Till next video, folks. Francisco J. Ruiz, out.